Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I would like to formally apologize for not having the comments open for so long in the last video. For some reason, YouTube flagged it as kids content and closed off all the comments. Fortunately, the comments are back now. I will try to have the comments open for this video as well. So, sorry. Anyways, let's get back to the video. From the thumbnail of the video and the title, you might already know what this video is about, so without wasting anyone's time, let's get into the stats. On one corner, we have the Indominus Rex, the indomitable king, the first on-screen hybrid, at least shown on screen. People say Scorpius is older, but anyways, the first on-screen hybrid that we see in the Jurassic franchise. And what are the stats for this thing? Well, firstly, this thing is 40 feet long in the movies, and it was estimated to be 50 feet long as an adult by Henry Wu, the man who created this creature. And in terms of weight, the official weight is not listed in the Jurassic Wiki. Last I checked. If you guys find any other official sources, do let me know. But from all the sources I can find, which I will list, the only source that I find actually, it seems pretty legit. And let me know if you guys have alternate sources which are better. The official weight for this thing is 5,443 kilograms, or a little over 5 tons. Now, I think this weight is more appropriate to the movie version of it, not the 50-foot version of it. And on the other corner, we have Spinosaurus aegypticus, or the spined lizard, the king of Saurna. And lengthwise, we are seeing a 43.9 foot monster in terms of length, and that's in the movies. In the Camp Cretaceous, it was bigger. At 54.8 feet, it became a lot bigger actually. And in terms of weight in the movies, it is said to be 8,050 kilograms, and in Camp Cretaceous, its weight is estimated to be bigger. So, first of all, a few ground rules. We are taking only the movie versions for the most part. We will have a debate about what if the maximum size is fought at the very end, but for now, we are only taking the movie versions. What is shown in the movies or any statement from the movies, that's it, nothing else. We will take the speculated maximum size at the very end. So already with size and weight out of the way, you can see a stark difference that Spinosaurus and Indominus, despite being similar lengths, are built very different. Spinosaurus is built more bulky, more robust, more for, face tanking combat, whereas Indominus Rex is built more gracile, more agile, more speed based, stealth based hunting or combat. And you can already see that Spinosaurus, despite being similar length, is at least 2.5 tons heavier, whereas Indominus is a lot lighter. So it's safe to say that the Indominus is going to be faster when it comes to running at least, but the Spinosaurus will be more tanky when it comes to, fighting. And what about their primary weapons? What I love about these two is that their primary weapons are not their jaws, but their hands. Them hands. They are literally about to throw hands. And in this case, you can see a stark difference in the hands. Indominus Rex, due to being part raptor, it has rather flimsy, gracile hands tipped with very sharp Therizinosaurus claws. On the other hand, Spinosaurus, being more of a bruiser, more of a brute, has more wide, thick arms packed with muscles and more pickaxe like claws to just dig into thick skin and just rip the chunks out. And you can see that this will be a pretty big factor because both of these animals are very durable. It's not confirmed who is more durable, but to be honest, Spinosaurus seems more durable because it tanked hits from like Kentrosauruses, T-Rexes as well. Like both of them have tanked hits from T-Rexes, but to be honest, Spinosaurus tanked these hits from things like a bull T-Rex and a healthy adult, young adult. Not only young adult, like a healthy adult in its prime has bit Spinosaurus on the neck and only had like a skin wound with little bit of blood. On the other hand, Indominus was fighting mostly a grandma version of Rexy. So yeah, that's not really close, but we can say that T-Rex teeth cannot really penetrate their skin. On the other hand, Camp Cretaceous Spino has better durability feats, but we are not talking about Camp Cretaceous Spino. Now, in terms of claws, because Indominus has Therizinosaurus claws, we have to consider which type of claws these are. These are not your typical tiger-like claws which are designed to grapple onto prey. These are more so for slashing. Now, the problem with these claws is that they give very skin wounds. And we do see this against Rexy. Yes, it slashed up, she was bleeding, but it wasn't something that caused a game over unless it stabs it like we see happen to Giganotosaurus in Jurassic World Dominion, which is unlikely to happen because Spinosaurus is a lot more durable and Therizinosaurus claws, the real Therizinosaurus claws were much, much bigger than whatever Indominus has. On the other hand, Spinosaurus's arms were extremely strong and its claws were extremely durable. It managed to puncture open the airplane that hit it on the sail. By the way, in terms of durability, like Spinosaurus took a fully full speed plane to the sail, which is the weakest part of its body, and it didn't do anything to like damage this thing. The only thing that happened is it got pissed off that it got hit. Nothing else. So already you can see a very stark difference in their fighting styles, and whereas the Spinosaurus is the bigger, bulkier bruiser, whereas the Indominus is the more nimble, fast, stealthy, agile hunter. And the way they fight is also very different. As you can see, their posture. This is an important part, by the way. Look how Spinosaurus is chasing this dude versus how Indominus is. And this is significant because of their postures, them being similar length. Due to the posture, their heights are very different. So Spinosaurus, being a wild animal, it knows how to walk better on two legs. It has chased animals on two legs, and it has much better balance when it comes to running. On the other hand, Indominus has a much greater tendency to be on all four legs because it's an animal that didn't do much running in its life because it lived in a small pen. It cannot maintain its balance all that well, so it goes on all fours very often. Now you might be asking, why is that significant? Well, for two reasons. One, the weak balance means when a heavier theropod is attacking them head on, slamming into them, they have a higher chance of toppling over. And if they get toppled over by the Spino, it's not gonna look good for Indominus. And the second thing is about grabbing. Now, both of these animals are grapplers, but if an animal's head is much higher than the other animal, the animal who has its head higher will have a much greater advantage to grab the shorter animal because it can just grab the neck from the top. So yeah, Indominus Rex takes a disadvantage in the height. It takes an advantage in speed, agility. No, agility is a bit iffy, but definitely speed. It takes an advantage in camouflage. It's more stealthy. It takes an advantage in intelligence, whereas Spinosaurus takes advantage in overall body mass and strength. It takes an advantage in fighting experience as well, because Spinosaurus has lived in Isla Sorna. It has fought a lot of other animals. It grew up there. When it was juvenile, it fought Ceratosaurus and juvenile T-Rexes for territory. By the way, remember, during the events of this movie, Spinosaurus is only 2 years old. That's a 2 year old. That's a toddler, by the way, because they had similar lifespans to humans. So, by human standards, that's a toddler. So, yeah, that's kind of scary. To be honest, Indominus was not fully grown either, but still, this is a scary fact to know that they are toddlers essentially. But moving on from that, Indominus never really fought anything other than her own sibling, where Spinosaurus has already, we know that fought T-Rexes before, because it knows that snapping the neck is an easy way to kill them, whereas it has also definitely have hunted the animals in Sorna. Also remember, animals in Sorna were wild animals, unlike the animals Indominus hunts. But we will get to that later. Another thing I would like to point out is their teeth. Now, we don't have any official bite force estimates for Indominus. A lot of people say it's a lot higher because it's T-Rex, but I would like to point out just one thing. Look at the teeth of Indominus. Indominus has a very rare thing called jagged teeth. Now, on land animals, jagged teeth is very rare. Naturally, it almost never occurs. It occurs when an animal's jaw is not properly developed. Because if your jaw is not wide enough, your teeth won't have enough space to grow in a proper line, like you can see in this case of Spino. It is all in one line. Whereas if you have narrower jaw than you are supposed to, like I have, because I myself have jagged teeth, I know this, is that if you don't have a jaw wide enough, you will have jagged teeth. And if you don't have a jaw very wide, that means it's a malnourished and malformed jaw. So it's not gonna be very strong, which means Indominus's bite is not gonna be very strong. At least not as strong as a T-Rex. It'd still be a strong bite because it's a very big animal. Even Distortus Rex, which is a distorted animal, also has jagged teeth. So definitely there is some bite force issues going on for both of them. Now, with all that out of the way, we have to look into the feats. Now, the biggest feats that I wouldn't consider Rexy defeating Rexy as a very good feat because she was very old at the time. So, yeah, I highly doubt it. But other than that, I will consider it at the very end. But before that, some interesting feats are that Indominus Rex managed to kill an Ankylosaurus and an Apatosaurus herd. These feats might look impressive on paper. In reality, they are not all that impressive because remember, the animals Indominus is hunting are essentially domesticated. Like, these animals are not wild animals. These animals have lived their entire life in captivity, never gotten any exercise. They are basically the version of a soy boy, a soy jock essentially, who just never had any workouts, so they're not as strong. Neither do they have the fighting instincts to fight back a predator because they have never seen a predator before. They don't know how to fight back one. So you can see the Ankylosauruses have run away from the Indominus and left this bull to defend by itself. Same goes with the Apatosauruses. These Apatosauruses had no idea how to fend off a predator and they fell victim to Indominus Rex. So this feat is not really that impressive because if you put any other theropod, like the large theropods from Jurassic franchise, the outcome will be the same. The Giga could do the same, the Spino could do the same, even T-Rexes could do exactly the same thing here. Because these animals have almost no instincts to fight back. However, if you put the Indominus against something like sauropod from like Isla Sorna, like the Brachiosauruses. Oh, by the way, I had nightmares as a kid from this. This is the herbivore that gave me nightmares, not the carnivores, not the neck snapping, T-Rex killing Freddy Krueger. No, no, no. It's this thing. Whoever designed this, it's on par with the walrus from Pingu. By the way, let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about the walrus from Pingu. But anyways, I don't think Indominus will be able to take on any of the Sorna herbivores if they're in a herd. Like, it can probably take on Parasaurolophus or Gallimimus or something, but the more armored herbivores like the Stegosauruses or the ankylosauruses or these brachiosauruses, I highly doubt that the Indominus will be able to take these down because of how menacing herbivores are. On the other hand, Spinosaurus, growing up in these islands, have fed on these creatures, have definitely taken down some of them. So the fighting experience on this guy is on a whole different level. Among all the theropods we know in the franchise, Spinosaurus has the most amount of fighting experience. So, final verdict. Before we judge the final verdict, let's look at which side holds advantage in which. So, Indominus holds advantage in speed. It holds advantage in camouflage or stealth. It holds advantage in intelligence, and on the other hand, the Spinosaurus holds advantage in size and strength. It holds the advantage in fighting experience, and it holds the advantage in bite effectiveness. Though I think bite effectiveness is more of a stalemate here. Same with durability, I think they are at a stalemate. So, after considering all of these factors, I'm not saying it will be a very close fight, nor am I saying it's gonna be a very easy fight, but it's gonna be a very decisive fight, and more often than not, it will look like this. Spinosaurus has so much experience and so much force behind its strikes that it will not have a difficult time grabbing onto Indominus and snapping its neck. Like, I would say about 70% of the time, if not more, the Spinosaurus is gonna win. There's just not much the Indominus can do against this thing. Like, unless the only 30% times I would say the Indominus can win is with an ambush. Like, if it catches the Spino sleeping or in any other vulnerable state and manages to bite the underside of the throat. Remember, biting the top of the neck doesn't do anything for Spino. If a T-Rex could not bite it, Indominus isn't biting through it. And so I don't think that's gonna do much. On the other hand, its sides are not very much able, like the Indominus won't be able to bite the sides very well. And even if we are talking about non-grapple methods, because in a grapple method, yes, the Spinosaurus will snap the neck, and the durability of Indominus won't matter because neck snap doesn't really do much to the skin. So even if we are not talking about grapples, still in a head-on collision, a creature that is like 2.5 tons heavier will have a huge advantage in terms of its strikes, in terms of its parry, in terms of its head bashes, in terms of general charging as well. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys disagree with it, let me know what your points are. Let me know what your counter arguments are. Now we will get to the final part of the video where I discuss the biggest sizes, the possibly biggest sizes. So Indominus Rex at its maximum size, according to Henry Wu, could be 50 feet. Could it be bigger? I think it's highly unlikely. Like, Henry Wu already is a genius who made this thing, so 50 feet is a reasonable larger size. So how heavy will the Indominus will be at 50 feet? Well, it's anybody's guess, but if we are scaling it up, I would say it's gonna be anywhere from 7 to 8 tons. 7,000 to 8,000 kilograms is gonna be a hefty, big estimate. On the other hand, we know the largest size of Spinosaurus, and that is 54.8 feet at Camp Cretaceous, where it officially now is the biggest carnivore in the Jurassic franchise. Apart from T-Rex, sorry, T-Rex has been introduced, but no, apart from T-Rex, yes, it is the second biggest one. So in terms of weight, we don't know for sure, but given that the 43 feet long or 44 feet long one was 8 tons, we can safely assume this thing would be at the very least 10 to 12 tons. 12 tons is on the upper end of the estimates. Maybe on a full belly it will be 12 tons, but other than that, definitely it's gonna be 10 to 11 tons. 11 tons is like a healthy size estimate for this thing. So yeah, in this size estimate you can already see nothing much changes actually. The Spinosaurus is still at least 2 to 3 tons heavier, sometimes even 4 tons, 4 times heavier, and it will also have way more battle experience, and it can now do things like this. With bite force alone, it can snap the neck, not snap, but crack the neck of one of the biggest T-Rexes in the franchise. And if it can do that to Big E.T., it can do that to Indominus's much more flimsy raptor-like neck. So it's I would say this will be even more brutal. Like at maximum size, this will be an even more brutal fight where Spinosaurus will have even more advantages. Now it's bigger, has way more durability. Like just to clarify, this thing took a full swing from Kentrosaurus's tail and it didn't penetrate the skin. Like like that's how durable his skins are. Those jagged teeth from Indominus, which are by the way very small compared to a theropod, would not be doing all that much to this behemoth of a creature. It's gonna tickle him most likely, and even in an ambush, I don't think Indominus in its full size is gonna be able to do much. Not to mention the movie Indominus against this thing would probably get one-shotted because it's so much bigger. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on these things. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if any topics I should cover in the next video. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you disagree with any of the outcomes, if you have counterpoints to make, if you have other sources which confirm something else. Let me know about that. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and finally,